If you want to learn how to make money in under 30 minutes, stay tuned to the end of this video. I'll walk you through my full strategy of my best setup that's been feeding me wins all month long, taking multiple payouts in January, in track to make another one here in February to close out the month. But really just a clean, simple setup that when you're in it, you know you're in the right trade and you have full confidence to let it either work out as a winner or hold through as a loser. But you know at the end of the day that this is your best, repeatable, and simple setup you can find. So looking at the trade Zella here, putting up quite a nice week and even overall on the month, about 6K. And on this week, it's a smaller day, but just one and done. I was done in 30 minutes while I'm in the trade. It felt like a while. But now when you look back at it and if you weren't in the trade, never a doubt was it bullish. I'll go over the trade setup here real quick. It was on NQ again. That you can see my long is after the bounce off New York VWAP, break of high day. As simple as it gets. It's clean, repeatable. I clearly have trending structure. I know I want to be a buyer. Now, the one thing you could say is the better play, slightly better price, would have been to play the bounce off New York VWAP. We had a few people in the Blackshirt Club take that trade. I'm a few minutes late on just the break play, but just really clean structure today. I know I want to be a buyer. Now, one of the main lessons I've harped on it, I see him over and over again of ES versus NQ. Which one to trade? How do I decide which one to take? There is no right answer. But if you look at this trade, that's my long here. That's the 15-minute. We'll get to that in a second. Then we could just go over. I don't know if I have it marked up over here. Here on the chart, this is my NQ trade, right? Bounce off New York VWAP. Off a key level, clean trending price action. Let's check out ES at that same time. Same high day break, same bullish structure, not quite off a key level. It really didn't pull back at all. It's just these small little pullbacks. Again, small little pullback. It had a little bit more drift in it, but you can see with the stop loss that I teach you to put in 2.0, it does not go 1R. It really just drifts a little bit higher. So seeing that this is breaking the high day view up, it's a tough one because I don't love to take that. But then why can I take it on NQ? If I don't want to take that ES one because I think I might want to come back down, wouldn't that bring my NQ down as well? Normally, yes. And that is a right answer in my opinion. That's how I view things. I like to see that full alignment when they're both off key levels. But being that ES was a little bit floating, I really like the way NQ was looking. And we can just go over to the 15-minute chart to see where I'm pointed at is where I'm getting in long on this 1-minute view of it. That we're really not overextended as much as we are on ES, that NQ looks like it's almost ready to pop, that we just retested the daily VWAP. Pre-market, we're right at the open, we pinned the yesterday's New York VWAP, and now we're back above it. That's what's even setting in this long bias for the rest of the day. But then we just retested it twice with these two pins. So we pulled back, retested it. Well, the move normally happens from here. It hasn't really left the station yet. I think we can get some nice lift from here. So I don't necessarily want to be out of the trade or not believe it can't go higher. Now, the next point I would make of, if it was up here where I'm buying it on the 15-minute perspective, then it's had maybe quite a nice move from that daily view up. Now 3 consecutive closes. Yeah, maybe I wouldn't want to buy a small pullback up here because now it looks a little bit floating. Where same thing on ES, on the 15-minute, kind of like what I'm saying. It's a little bit high just in relation to NQ. It's not too high. Of course, it could keep ripping higher. But I'm buying it just a little bit higher where on NQ I'm getting a better price down at the daily view up, where the moves happen from. So I'm almost getting in where I think the launch pad is. So thankfully I chose the right asset today, which was off the key level rather than trading my ES like normal, which wasn't quite off a level. I wouldn't have had the same risk reward. But if you go over the markup here, you can see it chop around quite a bit, but I was never wrong. I was never scared out of the trade because what are we still doing? I'm in the trade because buyers took control. They're back in to continue that trend. Well, they never give up that control. They throw some pins, they try, but buyers keep defending this high day view up. We're still chugging along these higher lows so far. And I really like how this trade takes more and more time, although it sucks to sit through that chop. Now the New York view up is being dragged further and further into my drawdown that if it does want to fully retest it, I should likely survive because now my stop loss is well below it, right? So I really have a level of protection that even if we are overextended and ES wants to come back down and NQ wants to come down with it and bounce off New York, I should likely survive because now New York is not really close to my stop loss. So that looks really good on it. But then we get that pop for a new high a day. It breaks outside the initial balance. I got a pretty good exit on it because I think that's the very high of it. Not being too greedy. This is a nice uplift. I already think it's a little bit overextended on ES. And Qs gave a nice pop now. I sat through all that chop for 30 minutes. I'm walking away with something. I'm not going to let this turn into a donut or give back all those gains, asking this to go to the moon just straight up. Because same thing on the left side, like I said, I'd be out at the end of this candle no matter what RR it is because it's a strong move up on the 15-minute, 3 bars straight in a row in the 15-minute, all bullish closes that if this closes the 15-minute at 0.9R, 1.2R, 0.7R, I'm probably going to close it just because I don't want to have to ask for another bullish bar to come in again and again. So that's my notes on that. Now, following that, later on in the day, what you could have taken was probably this. I bet a bunch of people probably took this setup, and it is clean. So here's kind of the pullback that I wanted on ES that we weren't getting earlier on this setup, right? We just went over that setup back here. It's close to New York, not quite off it, but then it does break the high day view up. That would be a potential entry signal, definitely not bad. Pulls back, even gives a higher low, and breaks again. So that's another good entry as well, almost like it's still making those higher lows. Buyers are trying to take that high day view up. So maybe you buy it there. Stop loss, I would work with this pin way back here, below structure. You might get just pin on that. So that's kind of unfortunate. You might have gone tapped, you might have not gone tapped. But regardless, you don't win this trade. Now the third one would be, okay, now we fully bounce off the New York VWAP. Defended it well. Here's my full retest. Buyers step back in again. It even gives a nice little pop, but couldn't get back to that high day. So now, when you look back on it, it's really just falling with these lower highs. But I definitely think you'd want to be a buyer today, no doubt. It's still holding our key levels. It keeps playing around with this high day view up. If this were to pop higher, you would not be surprised, and you'd want to be in that trade. It only got wrecked because if you're around and trading today, you can look at the chart here. I don't think you were wrong. I wanted to buy it. I don't think you could predict that coming in. So Trump started speaking. Maybe there's some tariff news, whatever the case may be. Clearly, that was a fundamental move that buying it at this point, again, another thing I like about that 1 minute setup we just went over, that third and final time when you're buying it, it's probably somewhere in here that you just had pinned that daily view up. So there's our full retest. We just fully pinned the daily. Now let's go make another move like we did back here. We touched the daily, extension. We touched the daily. You'd want extension, but clearly didn't want to do it today because of the news that came in. And we got sent way, way, way lower. So very unfortunate, unpredictable. I think the setup itself is solid and it is good. Now, the one thing could be argued of if you know Trump is speaking soon or even currently, again, then technicals kind of go out the window because you're asking for a high day view up break to move higher. But if he says something one way or another about news, the market's going to react how it's going to want to react. It's not going to care about a New York view up retest. So that's why I think it's just safer to stay out of the market when you know he's about to speak or he is speaking. Because I'll admit, yeah, these are all great high day view up breaks. And a clean trend today, I definitely want to be a buyer. So, like, there's nothing wrong with it. But it lost probably like 4 times. It couldn't pop for that new high. Maybe just because of the fundamentals. So if you did take that loss, you just got to take it on the chin. That's why it's also good and sometimes important that when it feeds me my plan early on in the day, I should have to capitalize on it because I don't want to still have to trade later on in the day. Since I'm up early, I made my money at 10:30 to 11. I'm not pressed to have to get into another trade. If the market doesn't want to give me something or if I know there's news coming in, I don't feel that itch to need to trade because I'm already up. But if I miss my clean opportunities earlier on in the day, then I'm more likely to want to say, okay, damn, I missed my trades. I want to make money today. Like, what can I find? What can I take? What can I do? And I'm going to have to take this and suffer that loss. So sometimes that earlier winner is almost necessary just to help out your psyche the rest of the session. But I think overall it was a good day. Again, all these trades were on my Tradeify account. So they're still running a sale. But if you just use code Evan Dyer at any point, you'll get the greatest sale that they have running so far. So they'll match whatever sale is going on. Use code Evan Dyer and you'll get a discount on that for all the accounts. So definitely don't try to buy it full price. That'd just be silly. Make sure you use a code. And I'd prefer it if you use code Evan Dyer because why not? But I'm really proud of the month. A nice solid green streak. No one's even talking about this. We got a little mini streak going on again of 10 days. What was the other one? 27? I think it was 27. I'm not going for that again, but a nice little 10-day streak. Solid green month. 2 red days. 13 green. Solid. Not really any break-even days too, right? If we go back to like the other months, we don't have to, but some of the green days were like break-even if I lost and I recovered it. Whew. Okay. Oh, there's one here. It'd be like this, like 18 bucks. That's not a green day. I just recovered my losses, but everything else is like a solid green day, nice 6K month, in line to take a payout, probably like in the first week of March because I'm not going to do it in these last 2 days. But nonetheless, there was great opportunities today. I think looking at ES and NQ has really helped me. And again, I made some videos about it prior of also the 15-minute helping me big time, of not even just knowing the direction I want to trade. But again, if I put on that yesterday's New York on NQ here, which is what I traded, I really like the way we pinned it at the open. And I want to buy it sooner than this. Pins it at the open. Now it's looking like we're going to be a higher low formed off here because we've been making higher highs and higher lows all overnight. So I'm coming into the open kind of bullish as long as we could hold above these VWAPs. So once sellers fail to hold down here and we start getting above this daily, I just wanted to buy it. But again, we got to relax. That's not a plan. That's not a strategy. That's just a feeling and a wanting to do. So it pops a little bit higher, but then it pulls back to that daily and holds it again. And then once it bounces a little bit, that's when you guys saw me buy it. And we caught a little bit extension higher. So I think when now you even look at ES, or that's NQ actually. Excuse me. Let's go back to NQ here. Same thing. I'm out of my trade at the top here. Not a bad retest, but it pulls back just a little bit. It doesn't really pull back to the daily, which on ES it did. So hopefully this daily VWAP, 15-minute, yesterday's New York VWAP, all these different things on NQ versus ES. Hopefully it's not confusing. I'll try to break it down slower and other variations. But if you ever have any questions, always feel free to reach out. Or honestly, tune into the streams on ASPEX TV every morning. I always break down my thoughts and my trades and my analysis of how I'm reading the 15-minute, what I'm liking, what I'm not liking, what do I need to see to get into a trade. So that's on the live streams. But then the strategies that I'm trading and the ones I'm talking about in this video are in the course here on Futures 2.0, the VWAP break and the VWAP bounce. Going back to this NQ one, I took the break because I took it on the break of that high day purple VWAP, but I was marking up earlier on the chart the bounce. If you know you really want to buy it, it bounces off our key level of open range high in New York VWAP. You can get a better price probably by, in this case, that's a good margin. That's a big difference in price and risk reward. If you buy this bounce, you're probably even going with a lower stop than I did because you got more room to work with. So clean trend to start the day. It kind of fizzled obviously into the late morning and then the news dropped us. So not a ton of opportunities, but I think these are just great lessons of mark these up. There's great entries, there's great lessons, and the further and further and the longer and longer it fails heading into news, I'm not touching it. Don't be afraid to walk off the desk, show up again tomorrow, show up in the afternoon, and then play the long game. We have the whole entire month. Right on this day, I settled for 18. Now when I zoom back at the end of the month, irrelevant. I still put up 6K. I don't care how much I make. 330, 158, 530. It all adds up. Stack these small little days. 250, 500. Stack them. 250. Just stack the days across the whole month. That's how you get the big P&Ls. Not by swinging for home runs every single day. The bigger trades are just going to happen. The small base hits will add up. So if you guys found value in it, hope you guys made money. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. But keep on trading safe. Let's finish the month strong. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.